Okay, moving on to bronzers. I don't have as many bronzers as I have blushes, so I still have a lot, but not as many as blushes. So let's get into it. My creams and powders are kind of mixed up, so I'm just gonna kind of do them all together. Number one, what should we keep? I definitely want to keep my Milk makeup bronzer, even though it looks very sad. This one is in my project pan and I had issues with it, lost some of the product. I couldn't get it like twisted back down once I twisted it up. I finally did, but I lost some of the product in the process. But I love this bronzer, so I am gonna keep it. So that one is a keep. Also a keep is my Rare Beauty bronzer in the shade Happy Soul. This is such a good cream bronzer. This is such a blendable bronzer. I mean, it's like velvety. It is so smooth and easy to blend. So that's an easy keep. This is my new cream bronzer from Mob Beauty. This is the one that they actually just sent me. And I really like this. I've only used it once so far, but it's a really pretty, little more cool toned bronze, but I do like it. This is the shade M80, and I definitely want to keep that one. We'll also be keeping my Fenty cream bronzer in Butta Biscuit, one of my favorites. I love this one, so that's a keep. We'll definitely be keeping my Neutrogena Healthy Skin bronzer. This is one of my favorite powder bronzers in my collection. It's definitely a hidden gem from the drugstore. It's so good. It kind of has 4 different bronze colors in it. You can't really see it now that I've used it, but this is so good. Definitely keep. One I am going to get rid of is this Well People bio-based baked bronzer in the shade Natural Tan. I've had this for a long time and it's not bad, but I've just never like fallen in love with it. I don't know why, because it's very pretty. It's kind of more of an iridescent or radiant looking bronzer, but I never find myself wanting to use this. So that one is gonna go. This one I think is also gonna go. This is the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural from MAC in the shade Medium Tan. This is pretty, but I have another bronzer that is similar to this that I like a little bit better. This is just a deeper like face powder that can be a bronzer. So that's it there. It's very, very warm. It's pretty, but like I said, I have one that's very similar that we'll get to in a minute that I like more. So that one is gonna go. I just got this Clinique bronzer in shade Sunkissed. I really like this. This was one of my favorite things that I tried for my Clinique video. It's very neutral. It has a little bit of shimmer in it. Not a ton, but if you look really close, you can kind of see it. But I like this a lot. I definitely want to keep that. The Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in shade 02. So I have both. I have 01 and 02 in this one. And for some reason, I find that I like shade 1 much better than shade 2 in this. I don't know why. I got both because I had shade 1. I loved it so much, so I bought this one as a darker option. And it's okay, but I don't know. When I want to use this, I always want to use the lighter one, and I typically only use that like in the winter time. So I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter 02. Then I have my little baby Tom Ford Soleil bronzer in the shade Terra. Definitely want to keep this one. This is a really pretty neutral color. That's really what I go for with bronzer if I can. I like something pretty neutral. This one is so cute and tiny. That one I am gonna keep. And this is the Fenty powder bronzer in Shady Biz. So I bought this at some point and I remember I used it once and I just wasn't in love with the color. It's very, very warm, almost like a light orangey color. It's very matte too. It's like a silkier type bronzer, but I just don't love the color. It's a little too orange for me. So I'll probably put this on Poshmark because this has barely been used at all. But I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that one. First, let's do Makeup by Mario. So this is the new Transforming Skin Enhancer in light medium. I love this. I've used this a ton already, and this is definitely something I want to keep. So that is a definite yes. Then I also have the new Skin Perfector. This one is the one that's a powder that you are supposed to kind of use over the top of the skin enhancer. I haven't really figured out how I feel about this yet, but I'm still kind of testing it out. So that I'm definitely going to keep. One I think I'm going to get rid of is Maybelline City Bronzer in 200. This is one I've had for a long time and I just don't love it. I just don't love it. I don't really have an exact reason. It's just not one that I feel excited to use ever. It's very, very warm. Has some shimmer in it. It's okay. It's not bad, but I'm just not excited about it. So that one is gonna go. I also have the new L'Oreal bronzer in shade light medium. This one I really like. This is also more of a matte formula, but I love the color on this. It's pretty neutral, which is what I like. So that one is a keep. Also a keep is my NARS Laguna powder bronzer. This was my first high-end bronzer ever. Not this exact one, but this bronzer itself, or this brand, this bronzer was my first ever high-end bronzer and I love it. So good. Love the color. That one is a keep. Then I have this one from Laura Mercier. This is the Matte Radiance Baked Powder. This is what I was talking about, is similar to that MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. This one is not quite as pigmented, I guess I would say. It's a little less pigment, a little more radiant. So I don't like to use this on its own. I like to typically use it over a cream bronzer, but it's really pretty and I like it. So that one I want to keep. Okay, one I'm really torn about is this one. This is the MAC Beijing Beauty Radiant Matte Bronzer. So this was from their bronze collection. They had, like, I forget if that was last summer or when exactly that was, but I didn't buy this then, but I bought it at the cosmetics company store. This is such a good silky formula. I really like this. I hate to keep it because you can't get it. I got this really cheap at the cosmetics company store. I don't even remember how much I paid for it, but I mean, I just love the color. The formula is nice. I feel like I have to keep this. That one is gonna stay. Then we have Revlon Skin Lights in the shade Sunlit Glow. So this is a very glowy bronzer, but it's very, very good for the drugstore. If you like something more luminous, it's really, really pretty. So this is very good. I like this line from Revlon. They also make highlighters, but this is a good one. So that is gonna stay. Then I have my butter bronzer. I thought about decluttering this just because I don't reach for it as much as I used to, but I do still like it. It's such a classic. I actually love the smell of it. The only thing I really dislike about it is the packaging. I wish they would redo the packaging and make it thinner and not so bulky, but I do want to keep it. And then the Warm Up bronzer from Undone Beauty. So this is like, kind of like the Bobbi Brown shimmer bricks, if you're familiar with that. But you can mix them all together and get highlight. You can get just the bronze colors and mix those together. But this is really good. I feel like I don't hear anyone talking about this. I picked this up at Ulta a few months ago, and I think this is really great. So I do want to keep that one. Okay, definite keep is the Dior Backstage Powder in the shade 4 Neutral. This is one of my more recent purchases. I absolutely love this as bronzer. This color in particular is so good. The swatch doesn't do it justice. I don't always wear it on its own, but it's pretty on its own if you want something really subtle, or it's really good to set a cream bronzer with. It has a little bit of a luminous finish, so you don't lose that creamy look that you get with a cream bronzer. So that is a definite keep. I think I am going to go ahead and let go of Warmth from Bare Minerals. I had mentioned this earlier. It was in the wrong category, but I feel like I kind of want to get this in Faux Tan instead. I feel like if I had that color, I would be much more likely to use this. Warmth is just so deep. It's hard to use if you have more fair skin. You have to be really careful with it, and I would rather have it in Faux Tan. So that one I'm going to get rid of. What I do have in Faux Tan is this Bare Pro Glow Bronzer. I don't think they even make this anymore. Yeah, so see how much better that color works for me. This is really pretty, but I never use a liquid bronzer like this that you have to pump out, even though it's really pretty. But I feel like I'm just not going to use this. I would rather get the original powder just in the Faux Tan color, so I'm also going to declutter that. I will definitely keep my Persona Dune Dream Stick, one of my favorite cream bronzers in my collection. I love everything about it. I love the color. It's easy to blend. I even love the packaging on these. I just 10 out of 10 love. So that is a definite keep. Also a definite keep is the Makeup by Mario Shaping Stick in the shade Light. Very similar to Dune. Well, not really. I guess Makeup by Mario is a bit more neutral. Dune is a little more warm. These are so good. They're always out of stock. Hopefully they're going to come back soon. But that is a definite keep. One that I am going to get rid of is this Bobbi Brown in Golden Light. So there was a time that I loved this. I used it all the time. But something has happened with it. I thought it was just hard pan. But I scraped and scraped and scraped on this earlier with a spoolie, and this layer of stuff that's on top like will not come off. I don't know. I guess it's hard pan, but it just doesn't want to come off. I don't know. It's very old anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter that. Another bronzer I just have not been able to fall in love with is the Ilia one in the shade Drawn In. This kind of has the same issue as the Bobbi Brown one. I've scraped it off, like scraped the top layer off, but I still feel like I'm not getting much color, and I can see it coming off on my finger, but I don't know. Something about this formula, it didn't last very well. And this is older, but it's not like super, super old. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter that one. I also think I'm going to declutter this Nude Sticks, I think, unless I talk myself out of it. Every time I use this, This is in Bondi Bay, and it's pretty. See, when I use it like this, I'm like, why would you get rid of that? Every time I use this, I feel like it looks a little bit dark on me, but the color is pretty, so now I'm second guessing it. Okay, that one I'm gonna put in the maybes. Then I have this one from Hourglass. So this used to be one of my favorites. I have the shade Nude Bronze Light. When I have gone to use this recently, I feel like I'm getting like little to no color at all. I feel like I'm getting like a slightly more tan face powder. Like, I feel like I'm just not getting any color at all, because I know these bronzers are marbled, so they all swatch differently, but I feel like I'm not getting any color with this bronzer. I don't know. I probably just need a new color. So this one is painful, but I think it's time to declutter that. And then here we are with Cover FX again. So I have the bronzer duo in the shade Sun-Kissed Bronze. This has always been one that I kind of struggled with because the colors are pretty, but it is very deep. So you have to be really careful. You have to use this really, really sparingly. And it's, I mean, the color is pretty, but I just don't know. I'm gonna put that in the maybe. And then I also have these. I used to use these a lot. I haven't used these in a long time. They're the bronzer drops from Cover FX. In fact, they look kind of goopy and gross. So it's probably time for these to go. But this used to be a really pretty cream bronzer. Yeah, I think these have gone bad. So that's definitely gonna go. Okay, this section's gonna be difficult. All right, first one, this is an easy one. I love this Hollywood contour wand. I have fair medium, and it is one of my favorite things I've tried like ever from Charlotte Tilbury. It is so pretty. It blends beautifully. This is just a one-of-a-kind thing in my collection. I would repurchase this always. So that one is a keep. Then I have the large airbrush bronzer from Charlotte Tilbury. This one has a lot of hard pan also, but hold on a second. I do like it. I like the color of it. I feel like I just need to kind of work on it a bit. Okay, so I just kind of got some of this hard pan off, and I get a good bit of the color payoff now. So this one is salvageable. This isn't my favorite powder bronzer, but it's Charlotte Tilbury, and you know me. I love Charlotte Tilbury, so that one is a keep. Then I have the original Filmstar Bronze and Glow. I haven't used this in a very, very long time. Let me swatch this. So you get the highlight and you get the powder. I feel like my bronzer is kind of, no, it's there. It's kind of hard to tell with these bright lights, but this is a classic Charlotte Tilbury product. So I'm gonna keep it. You know Patrick Ta's not going anywhere. This is the Contour Duo, very similar to the blush duo that I love so much. This is the medium shade, which is, what's it there? She's Statuesque, I think, or no, She's Sculpted is this one. So that is not going anywhere. Oh gosh, okay, let's talk about this. So this bronzer, you guys, I bought it, obviously. I got it in the shade medium. The reason I got it in medium is because when I went into Sephora, I literally had to ask somebody. Like, I went in so early that they had not even put these out yet. Like, there were no testers or anything, so they had to make the testers for me. And I was under too much pressure. I feel like I made the wrong decision here because this is pretty, but I just feel like this color is not, I feel like it's just a little too warm. A little too warm and a little too dark. Even if I have tan on, I don't know. I feel really torn about this. I'm starting to worry that I should have gotten fair in this. And of course now fair is sold out. But then like I look at it there and I'm like, yeah, but that color is pretty. I don't know. I'm really torn. When I looked at the fair one, I remember thinking I thought it looked kind of gray. But again, I was kind of trying to make a decision quickly. My husband was with me and I just kind of made the decision. I mean, it looks pretty there. I don't know. I don't know about this. I wish you guys could speak to me through the camera, but this is going to go in the maybes because I have thought about reselling it and buying the fair one when it comes back in stock. Because there's nothing wrong with it. It's only been used like once or twice. I don't know. We're going to put that in the maybes for now. Okay, another interesting one. So I have two of the Chanel bronzers. I have the original and I have the darker shade. Not the newest, but the second newest one, I guess. I forget what this one is called. I think it's deep bronze or something. So I bought this on a whim, honestly, at Ulta, because I was in an Ulta that had Chanel, because the Ulta stores are starting to carry Chanel, and I like it. I can definitely make it work, but I feel like it's too difficult to make it work because it is pretty dark. I love the tone. It's really pretty. It's just a little bit dark for me. But then I also have the lightest one, and I feel like this one is a little bit light and a little bit warm, but I feel it's better than the dark one though. Long story short, I shouldn't have bought this dark one. And I know now there's a third shade, I think, and a few of you have messaged me and told me I needed the third shade or the newer shade, so I don't know. I'm thinking I might try to resell this deep one because again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not very old, and keep my original one for now, but then I may end up getting the new shade. I haven't seen it in person. I'd like to see it before I buy it, but that's what I'm thinking there. Then I have the NARS cream bronzer in Laguna. So this was the original one that came out before they re-released them in different shades. And to be honest, I'm kind of torn with this one also because it's really pretty, but it's dark. It is dark. You have to be super light-handed with this, so I'm almost wondering now if I should declutter this one and buy Laguna #1, because I think this one is equivalent to Laguna 2 now, and now there's Laguna 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think. So I don't know. I really don't. I love Laguna. That's gonna be a maybe. Then I have this little baby Hourglass Luminous Bronze Light. This is almost gone. I've hit major pan on this. And this is super pretty, especially as eyeshadow. But the question is, like, will I use this as eyeshadow? I feel like I probably won't. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. Okay, I think this is actually it for bronzers after this. First, this is my Milani 01 that I was talking about. So this is the one, for some reason, that I like the most. I like this much more than 02. But this has always been one of my favorite drugstore bronzers. If I want something matte and I want something for when I'm really fair. So usually like fall, winter time. So this I'm going to hang on to. Then we have the Tower 28 Bronzino in the shade West Coast. Okay, this one I also feel like kind of torn about, although gosh, look at that. So this is a very, very glowy bronzer, like very, very luminous. This is a really pretty color. It's kind of a golden bronze. I really need to pull this out and use this more, honestly. So I'm gonna keep that one. Then I have Buxom Primer Infused Bronzer in Rooftop Tan. I love the Buxom formula, especially the blushes. I feel kind of indifferent about this one. I don't know why. Because it's pretty. It's more of that sheeny kind of radiant formula, but I never reach for this one. So I'm thinking that should go. That's gonna be decluttered. Then I have the Flower Heatwave Luminous Bronze in the shade Sunrise Light 1. So this one is very interesting. It looks like it would be like gray, but then when you put it on, it is a bit more cool toned, but it's not gray. It just has a it has a bit of a gray undertone, I guess, but it doesn't look gray, if that makes sense. But you can see the difference between the Buxom and that one. That one is way cooler. The Buxom is more warm. I'm gonna say that's a maybe. These ones are gonna be difficult. Okay, the e.l.f. Putty Blush in the shade Honey Drip. This I really like. This is a good cream drugstore bronzer. That's kind of hard to find, I feel like. I don't have many cream drugstore bronzers that I like. So I am gonna keep that one. Then I have this Bare Minerals Endless Summer Bronzer. I think they quit making this. I got this a while ago at TJ Maxx, I think. And this is another one that gets hard pan. Like it kind of has it now, but the color is so pretty. I love the faux tan shade. I like the faux tan shade, honestly, more than those two, now that I look at it side by side. But the formula is kind of off on this, I feel like. I might try to scrape this one and see what happens. So I'll put that in the maybes. Then I have two really high-end bronzers, neither of which I reach for. So this one is Dior Forever Natural Bronze in the shade Tan Bronze number 4. This one is very matte, very silky. It's pretty light. It's a nice formula though. I don't know why I don't reach for this one. It's a good color though. So I feel like that one should stay. And then this one. This is possibly the most painful one. This Gucci bronzer, I've kind of talked about this in other videos. I feel like I got the wrong shade in this. I feel like I should have gotten the one in between. I think this is shade 3. No, this is shade 2. Maybe I should have gotten shade 3. I don't know though, because that looks pretty. I don't know what I'm saying, because now I'm looking at that swatch and I'm like, I mean, it's a deeper bronzer, but it's pretty. I actually like the look of that one more than I like the Dior one. The Dior one is matte. The Gucci one has a bit of shimmer in it. Yeah, the Gucci one is looking better than I thought. What is my problem with this? I don't know. I was thinking I might resell this, but now I'm thinking, no, I need to just use it more and just kind of be careful with it. So that I'm gonna say keep. Do I keep this Dior one? I'm gonna put Dior back in the maybe. I don't know. That's all the bronzers, you guys. So let me pull out the maybes so we can decide about those. So these were the ones I said maybe on. Okay, I think I am gonna get rid of Nude Sticks Bondi Bay. I don't know. Something about this I just feel like I'm not gonna use. I feel like every time I go to reach for this, I think, I don't know if I like how that looks. So I feel like that's my answer. So that one is gonna go. I think this flower one's gonna go. I like it, but The color is just kind of weird. Let me compare this one to, where is it? That Revlon one. Yeah, let me compare this to the Revlon. Yeah, the Revlon, I just like the color more. It's warmer, but it's not orangey. Yeah, I'm gonna keep Revlon Declutter Flower. Something is telling me I need to declutter this Laguna and get the Laguna 1 at some point. Because I just, like, even there, do you see how dark that is? I just kind of dipped my finger in. And, I mean, that is dark. I mean, yeah, you can blend it. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I just don't know. I don't know. Can you tell I can't make up my mind? Let's compare that to the Charlotte Tilbury one. Charlotte Tilbury is easier to blend out. Something about this Laguna, I don't know. And I know I've thought it ever since I bought it. It's just hard to not overdo it. And then it just kind of turns into a mess. I feel like I need to declutter that. I still feel unsure about this one, but it does blend out easily. It's just a little bit darker and warmer than what I might go for, but I just don't know if I would like the fair shade either. So I think I'm gonna hold on to it for now. And who knows, maybe I'll end up getting the fair shade. Let me know what you think in the comments if you have fair, what you think of the color. Last 3. So then we have Bare Minerals Faux Tan. So I scraped a bunch of this off. And I mean, it definitely applies better. Now, I just don't know because this formula is so like finicky. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter it, and hopefully at some point I'll get Faux Tan in the loose version. I'm also thinking maybe I should declutter this Dior bronzer. I don't know, but this color is so light. I mean, I feel like you can barely see it. Maybe I should have gotten one shade up. I mean, you can barely see that on my hand. The formula is good on this though. I'm gonna keep it. Hopefully I can use it when I don't have self-tan on. And I do think I'm finally gonna get rid of this from Cover FX. I mean, it's pretty. I just don't think with all my other bronzers, I'm gonna choose this. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. All right, you guys, I counted them up. I'm keeping 28. I'm getting rid of 21. So not quite in half, but close. It's funny, I'm coming really close in almost every category to cutting it in half. So I feel pretty good about that. I did go ahead and decide, I changed my mind. I'm gonna get rid of this Dior bronzer. It's just too light. It's just too light. No matter how much pressure I use, I just feel like it's too light. And then I also decided I didn't really need this Laura Mercier, this baked formula. I have some things that are similar, this kind of radiant, more sheer formula. I just feel like I don't need this, so that one's gonna go as well. So total I had 49 bronzers. I'm getting rid of 21 and I'm keeping 28. Pretty good. Okay, I am gonna do face palettes in this video as well. I only have a few, so this won't take super long time, but I am gonna include them here. So I have 3 Hourglass palettes. I have this little baby, this is actually the ambient highlight palette. So this was, I think this was a re-release for them. And honestly, I've barely used this. I honestly kind of forget that I have it. I kind of have that issue with my palettes like this, is I forget that they're even there. So with this, you get more of a pink, more of a kind of champagne, and then more of a bronze highlight. I just don't know if I would use this, to be honest. It's really pretty. I honestly think I might resell this on Poshmark. I just feel like I'm not gonna use it. Okay, then I have 2 of their actual face palettes. So these come out every holiday. I have 2 of them. I don't have the one from this last year, 2021. I think this is 2020 and 2019, I want to say. So this is the Ambient Lighting Edit Sculpture palette. Really pretty. So you get a bronzer, 2 blushes, and some of the finishing powders in here. Is this diffused heat? No. Mood exposure. Okay, I was gonna say, I wonder if I have the diffused heat highlight. But yeah, no, these are different. These are not ones that I already have in here. These are so beautiful, these Hourglass palettes. I don't use mine like I should. Base palettes always end up being like that for me. I'm like really drawn to them, but then I don't end up using them. So there's that one. And then this is the Ghost palette. So the Ambient Lighting Ghost. Let's see here. So those 2 look kind of similar. Maybe this one is diffused heat. No. Iridescent Rose and Sublime Flush. Sublime Flush I love. I have the full size of this. I didn't even realize this was in here. And then that's like a, what is that called? That pink. It looks kind of like diffused heat. It's called Iridescent Rose. And then the bronzer is Eternal Bronze Light. So I mean, honestly, these look really close to each other. These are so pricey too, which makes me want to keep them. I feel like I need to pick one or the other. I'm struggling though. This is definitely a darker bronze than the bronzer in here. I feel like I like the colors in this palette more. I feel like I like this one the best. I'm gonna go ahead and look these up and see which one of these was the older one, because I can't remember. Okay, it looks like the Ghost is the older one. This was the 2019 one. But I kind of want to keep this one. It looks like you can actually still buy the sculpture from the Hourglass website. Okay, I'm going to put that in the maybes for right this second, and I'll decide at the end. Okay, then I have 2 Charlotte Tilbury palettes. This one is my favorite of the 2. This is the Pretty Blushed Beauty Instant Look of Love palette. I think this came out for Valentine's Day earlier this year, I think. So this one you get bronzer, powder, blush, highlight, and you get 3 eyeshadows. This I have used and love. I think this is one of their best face palettes they've ever had. I don't think you can still buy this. I'm pretty sure it was limited edition, but that one I would definitely not get rid of. So that one is a definite keep. Then I have this one. This is the Nudegasm palette in, or I guess this one wasn't in a shade. It was the only one they released. So you get 2 bronzers. You get a darker bronzer, a lighter bronzer, highlight, and a blush. This is too pretty, you guys. I don't use this a lot, but I love it. It makes me happy just to look at it, so I am going to keep it. Then I have this one from Natasha Denona. This was the Glam Face palette. I forget when this came out, but in here, this is another one that is gorgeous that I need to use. So you get a blush, a highlight, and 5 eyeshadows in here. This was the light version. I think this came in deep and light, or the dark and the light. I will say I don't love the formula on this blush. It's kind of a putty consistency, kind of like a cream to powder type formula, but I do like the color. This highlight is stunning. And then these 5 eyeshadows. These are, some would probably say boring. It's not boring to me. I love these types of shades. So this is not going to go anywhere. That one is a keep. I also have the Dior Backstage highlight palette in Universal. So this comes in another shade. I forget what it's called. This is the Universal one. This is definitely a keep. This is such a classic product. You get everything you need in here. You get a pink highlight. You get a white highlight. You get a bronze. I got too much stuff on my hands. You get a bronze and you get a gold, and I love all 4 of these. I love these on the face and on the eyes. So that one is definitely not going anywhere. I think I am going to go ahead and get rid of this. This is a Benefit face palette with 3 blushes and the Hoola bronzer. Benefit has, I think, just redone all of their blushes now. So I don't think they even make most of their old ones anymore, or maybe they just changed the names. I don't know. But I never use this, and I like the other base palettes much more that I have. So that one is going to be a declutter. And then the last one is also from Dior. This is the contour palette. So you get, let's see, you get 2 contours and 2 highlights in here. Contour and highlight. I love the lighter shades for my face, but I also love all of them on the eyes. It's just a really pretty neutral eyeshadow palette. I definitely would keep this. I love, love, love Dior. Let me see if I can swatch a few of these. I haven't used this in a long time. I need to pull this back out. I don't know if they even sell this anymore. I feel like I never see this now, but I definitely want to keep it. So that was pretty easy, other than these hourglass. The hourglass is clearly what I'm having a hard time with, because the 3 maybes are the hourglass. I'm gonna declutter the highlighter. I just don't think I'm gonna use that. Probably resell that. So we just gotta decide about these now. I mean, all of these powders, yes, they're old, but they work well. I'm gonna keep these. These were expensive, and I don't want to just declutter them just to declutter them, because it's not that I don't like them. I just genuinely forget that I have face palettes, so I've got to find some solution for that. So we're gonna keep those, which means I only decluttered 1 in this category, but that's fine. So I'm keeping 1, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total. So I'm keeping 7 and decluttering 1. Actually, 1 more I guess I'll include in this. This could really be eyeshadow or face palette, but it's my Tarte Aspen Ovard palette. So you get the shadows, but you also get a blush and a highlight. I talked about this in my recent everyday makeup drawer video. This is not going anywhere. It's very old, but I absolutely love using this still to this day. So that is a definite keep, which means I had 9 to begin with, and I'm keeping 8, decluttering 1.